So, since my video for Crawl is stuck in Gehenna, I wanted to get a different video up before, if ever, that one is released. Come on, Paramount, just release the block already. So I decided to go for another movie about big angry lizards, but with a production company that is much smaller, in the hopes that it won't get blocked. So, here's to hoping. So, with no further ado, welcome to Survivor's Guild. Today we will be looking at the 2007 killer croc movie Blackwater, presented by AV Pictures, Australia Film Commission, and the Territorial Film Developments. Written and directed by David Nerlich and Andrew Traucki, starring Diana Glenn, Maeve Dermody, and Andy Roderita. Blackwater is a thrilling killer croc film that is based on true events, and just goes to prove the age-old adage of if you can refer to a location as that crocodile place, it should likely be avoided. I don't know why, but when God destroyed the dinosaurs, he missed these depraved demon lizards. We open up to Lee and Grace saying their goodbyes to their mom, Pat. No, she's not dying. They just spent Christmas with her and are about to make like a baby and head out. Grace's husband, Adam, also says goodbye. After visiting Jurassic Park, known by the locals as that crocodile place,
I want to see that crocodile place.
Now the birds start to really muck around.
Lee, Grace, and Adam head to a bar to play charades.
E.T. 9 months.
Aliens. Yeah.
Wait a second, how is that an alien? Well, they discuss the next day's itinerary and decide to take Blackwater Berry's alternative river tour, known by the locals as Certain Death.
Yeah? Be fun.
We find out that Grace is pregnant and that Adam doesn't know yet, which raises the stakes significantly. Unfortunately, Blackwater Berry is already on a tour, but Jungle Jim will join them for their jaunt into Certain Death.
Take these, I'll meet you out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jungle Jim likes to look suspicious, but they set out on the river anyway. Jungle Jim explains that they came at the perfect time since the high tide means there will be more fish, which incites Lee to ask a non sequitur.
Is that why you bought a gun?
No, it's just Barry's insurance policy.
Hopefully this Barry guy has insurance other than that gun, because the lawsuit following the events of this movie is probably going to be a doozy. Jungle Jim moves them up the river to a more secluded area where they will be able to catch more Death. Unfortunately, Death works on a catch and release arrangement in that no matter who catches Death, in this case it's Adam, Death releases them all from the boat.
Very nice.
Yeah, something's there.
The croc, recognizing that the potentially homicidal Jungle Jim is his only real threat, dispatches him right away. Either that, or Jungle Jim drowned in 3 feet of water. However Jungle Jim died, he gives us our first death of the movie. When Lee finally surfaces, she attempts to climb onto the capsized boat, and makes it just in the nick of time. And despite the croc's best efforts, Lee is able to stay on the boat. If you've seen any other of Andrew Traucki's movies, you'll know that he is an absolute master of building tension. So much so that I almost feel sick watching his movies. Between this film and the shark flick The Reef, there is a near constant knot in my stomach that only really relieves itself when the credits start to roll. The three of them begin brainstorming some exit strategies, taking into account that no one, as far as they know, has any idea where they are, that they don't even know where they are, and that they have no idea what direction to head. So Grace determines to see how far they might be able to go just by staying in the trees. She is able to make it all the way to the main river, but, judging by the sounds in the water, something might have been stalking her. And, after poking around in the water, we get a jump scare. Grace heads back to the group but doesn't mention that ear at all. and the three of them deliberate which method of escape they really want to try. Adam tries to cheer them up with a fun children's song.
It's a song that kids sing. 3 cheeky monkeys sitting in a tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. Can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be. Snap.
Sorry, did I say fun? I meant useless and scary.
Thank you, Adam.
And by useless and scary, I guess it apparently worked because now Grace prefers the boat rather than swimming.
Yeah, I think I prefer row your boat gently down the stream.
So do I. Let's get the boat and get out of here.
But apparently that's not what she meant. And they proceed to hang out in the trees. Sadly, they are getting eaten alive by bugs, and Lee drops their repellent into the water. This accident is exactly the problem Adam was looking for in order to make his pitch, and ends it with an uplifting, self-empowering speech, which kind of works.
I remember being a kid. I was spending all afternoon in the cupboard. I was too scared to come out because I thought my brother was waiting outside to beat the out of me. The thing is, minutes after chasing me into the cupboard, he'd just gone off with his mates. So it wasn't my brother keep me in the cupboard, it was me. It was fear.
And Adam says the words that no one should ever hear.
It's okay. I'll be right back.
Good luck, Adam. Goodbye. And then sets out to recover the boat. After righting the boat, Adam takes an ill-timed break to catch his breath. But instead of catching his breath, he catches his death, giving us our second death of the movie. Ugh, that's a big croc. After a short grieving period, Grace decides that the boat is still their best option and sets out to go get a stick long enough to reach the rope in the water. With the croc constantly watching and the boat ever drifting away, their options are running out, and so is their time. But it's not all bad. At least Adam is still around. Oh wait, that's awful. That night, there is a lightning storm that the croc uses to its advantage, eating Adam in the loudest possible way.
What was that? Oh God, it's eating him. It's eating him.
Crowning this croc as the king of terrorizing. The next morning, Grace, obviously broken by what she heard the night before, continues the same terrible children's song that Adam taught them.
2 cheeky monkeys sitting in a tree, teasing Mr. Crocodile. Can't catch me. Along came Mr. Crocodile, quiet as can be. Snap, 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 snap. Thank you. Thanks a lot. That's very, very helpful.
He would have wanted it this way. Lee and Grace opt to try to get to the boat again, using trees this time. But before their adventure, they send their thoughts into the indifferent universe that up until this point has not given a crap about them, and probably still won't.
Go away, Croc. Go away. You're gonna go away. Far, far away. Lee and Grace will be safe. Lee and Grace will be safe. Lee and Grace will be safe.
After their ritual, they set out to get to the boat. Lee and Grace play musical trees, but clearly the universe wasn't listening, and the croc confronts them.
I think...
The croc attacks Grace and mauls her leg, but releases her. Lee and Grace climb back into the tree and inspect the wound.
You okay?
Lee uses her shirt to tend to the wound, but Grace has already lost a lot of blood, thus making their predicament all the more dire. They can hear a boat motor drawing close, and Lee does her best to get close enough to the river to get their attention. But unfortunately, they cannot hear her. Lee then notices that the croc is staying under Grace where her blood is dropping, eagerly awaiting its next meal. So she quickly gets over to Grace to help her tuck in her legs. Lee then leaves Grace again in her final attempt to grab the boat, engaging in the same ritual that failed the first time.
Please help us. Please keep us safe.
and it fails this time too. Despite the fact that she made it to the boat, the croc is still able to jump scare us all. And then the croc takes back the boat that it believes belongs to it, and then attacks Lee. Lee wakes up in heaven, or actually on a large muddy dinner plate, next to their old scout leader, Jungle Jim. Was he always missing his legs? Or no? Lee snaps her bum pinky back into place before noticing the owie on her tummy. She then remembers Blackwater Berry's insurance policy and grabs it off of the dead body and cleans it up a little bit. After cleaning the gun and the round, she quickly reloads it and fires it to make sure it works. She then takes one of Jungle Jim's arms, possibly his only arm, and then starts trying to lure the croc over. Oh man, that was his squeezing arm! After fishing for a little bit but with no bites, she stands up to survey her surroundings, only for Mr. Croc to pop up behind her. She gets back into the water and the croc follows her only to attack her again. She then falls right into its jaws before finally blowing its brains out. Lee then wanders around the swamp to find Grace. Sadly, Grace is not able to celebrate Lee's victory as she must have bled out while Lee was away. This is especially sad because we know that she was pregnant, making these deaths all the more brutal and tragic. But such is the world that we live in, and at the very least, this is just a movie. And as tragic as it is, these two go on the list. Lee loads her sister's body into the boat and makes her exit from the mangrove that claimed the lives of her sister's family and Jungle Crew's Jim. So now to find out, what are your chances of suffering survivor's guilt? This is where we look at the main characters and the death that surrounds them to find out what your chances are of suffering survivor's guilt if you were in this movie. Starting off strong with Jungle Jim and Adam shortly after, we have the first two deaths of the movie. And then at the end, we have the loss of Grace and her unborn baby, giving us two more in a much harder and sadder addition, leaving Lee and her mom Pat as the only two survivors in this movie, which means that out of a total of 6 characters, only 2 survive, giving you a 33.3% chance of suffering survivor's guilt. Given those odds, how long would you last in this movie? And if you survived, how would you make your escape? As always, if you liked this video, go ahead and hit the like button, and stick around to watch more like it. And if you'd like to keep updated on when I release a video, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you don't miss any. And keep a lookout for the Crawl release if it ever gets released. Alright guys, until next time, thanks.
Thank you.